People's Food Co-op is your neighborhood grocery store owned by 12,000 of your friends and neighbors. They serve high-quality foods, natural products, and support local farmers, featuring organic produce, meat and seafood, house-made bakery, deli, and more. You don't have to be an owner to shop. Learn more at www.pfc.coop. Prevention is the key to a healthy life. That's why Gunderson Health encourages you to learn about vaccines and how they can help you and your loved ones stay healthy. Vaccines protect against preventable diseases and viruses by boosting your body's defenses. Visit GundersonHealthFacts.com to learn more. We connect with Gaby Marván, a papier-mâché sculptor working in the Mexican folk art tradition. We talk about the history of the craft and the start of the Mexican Folk Art Collective. Check out the Mexican Folk Art Collective exhibition at the Pump House, September 13th through November 4th. Listen to our podcast at lacrosselocal.com or your preferred podcast app. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Gabriela Marván, and I am originally from Mexico, Cuernavaca, Mexico. And it's almost like South Mexico City, about 1.5 hours from there. Well, what brought me to art, I think I have been doing some art since I was a child. And I was in painting classes or those things. But professionally, I started my career as a graphic designer. And then I was working a lot into computers and 3D animation, and then it was more for a personal therapy that I returned to do art and working more with my hands. And that's when I became this more my passion. Mm-hmm. And I was finding in art a way to express myself. I put my heart in my artwork. What I found also when I was starting doing cartoneria, I started doing cartoneria, that is a papier-mâché technique that we use in Mexico, and it's about working with paper mainly, and paper and paste and some like wire structure. I started working on this in 2016. Yeah, it's pretty new.
So I'm sure people have seen this before, but like you're saying, it's paper mache sculpture. There's like characters. There's like scenes on here. How long ago did that start? Is that something that's always been around? What is it born out of?
This technique, cartoneria, was the colonial times. When the Spaniards arrived to Mexico, they brought this technique, and as a part of their in that time, as a part of religion ceremony, as a part of their way to evangelize the town or the folks in there, they were bringing this to make religious figures. The pre-Hispanic people in that moment had a lot of festivities. So it's kind of like when the Spaniards arrived to Mexico, they saw a way to communicate and evangelize in that moment to the people, but the people took those traditions and started making in the festivities of the town too. So the paper sculptures was a way to make those big figures, 6 feet or more figures, and a way to easy carry the figures from one place to the other. It was a part, and it's still part of the festivities during the year of the celebrations in Mexico. So, for example, on Easter, we do something called Judas, that are decorated devils. And we put fireworks, and the Judas spin, and the fireworks starts, and then the party starts. And then piñatas are part of the same technique. And then the alebrijes, that is a mixture between 2 or more animals that are also part of the celebrations nowadays. So there is a big parade of alebrijes in Mexico City that happens about September, October. And of course, Day of the Dead. So I started learning this technique from a traditional artist that she has been, on her family has been part of this technique
Mm.
for 4 generations. She's the 4 generations of paper mache artists. So this is a big thing in Mexico. The family who does paper mache is because their family from 4 generations ago, they have been doing it. We learn from those masters.
Sure.
And I feel very lucky to find this. I was apprentice of this teacher, Monica Franco, and learn the traditional techniques from them. And then now it's the cartoneria. It's like beyond Mexico. I'm in a groups like Facebook group or social media groups where like cartoneros. That's how we call us. Cartoneros. We share our techniques, our tricks of how we do our pieces, and it's also I found a way to not only do art, because these pieces also shares part of our history and our roots of Mexico. So my pieces are mainly focused on Day of the Dead or Dia de Muertos, and alebrijes, that are those animals that I just explained, and also the Judas. So I mainly do like colorful figures, and I just say like scenarios of characters doing something.
I mean, it definitely looks like definitely a scene or activity of celebrating these kind of traditional sort of events and happenings throughout the year. Was that just a natural progression from your interest into that to kind of the Mexican Folk Art Collective to kind of keep these traditions alive? Or what is the MFA Collective? Do you call it the MFA Collective?
Yeah, actually
Okay.
that's how we call it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it happened when I was in Mexico. I was part of like another collectives, and I like a lot the collaboration between other artists. But I also studied the diploma on folk art. So I was visiting the indigenous communities in my hometown in Morelos, and I was feeling that connection to the traditional arts, and I wanted to share this feeling, and I wanted other people feel the same magic that is happening on these towns, no? So since then, I was feeling like the necessity of sharing this and connecting with other artisans to share the roots. And they say it's still like some communities alive who is like doing this traditional art, and that is part of their identity and our identity. That's my attachment to folk art. So when I came here, of course, I migrated on 2019 because I got married with a very handsome guy. He's from Milwaukee originally, but I came here. I didn't have job, so I did what I loved. That it was like paper mache and piñatas. And then I was looking for spaces where to sell my art. I found one place in Minneapolis, and I offered them to sell my art there. But when I told the prices, they were asking me to reduce my prices. So because they say, no, we can get for cheaper in Mexico. And I said, of course, yeah, you can get it because the supplies are cheaper. And when I visit that place, I also realized that the name of the artist was erased. So they didn't know what artists were doing the art and those things. So sometimes the folk art, or at least this happened in the folk art in Mexico, sometimes the name of the artist is not in there.
Almost kind of pumping it out, almost like a factory in some sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A factory, but it's handmade. But it's cool because it's handmade, but we don't know who did it. Someone in the town. So that was my reason why I wanted to start the collective. One is to open a space in Midwest for artists who share this traditional art and contemporary art too, but related to our roots. So I was feeling that we needed a space, or at least like a community that can like showcase our art from an underrepresented I was feeling underrepresented. I was like having the necessity of create something. So that's why we started, and then it was also my way to look for more artists in the area and like, hey, can we do something together? So the COVID also gave us the answer of that create like additions with more artists is better than create like open the doors only one person, right?
So is that the natural progression to do this pump house show? So you guys have a Mexican folk art collective September 13th through November 4th. I believe you have 20 plus artists that are coming. Is that kind of one of the first steps in kind of getting this out there in the area?
Well, we have last year an exhibition, Rylander, in the north of Wisconsin. I connected the pump house when I was part of the Artspire. And then I met Allison in there, the director now. And I presented to her the project of the collective like 2 years ago. And she was very excited about the collective idea and yeah, like so she wanted something there. And then it was this opportunity to apply 1 year ago, and then we got accepted as a collective. And this is kind of a unique opportunity we have found here around in the area, because we usually go to the big cities like Minneapolis or like Milwaukee, where I have feel more accepted, unfortunately. But here around the area, we hadn't find something. But I'm very thankful with the pump house that gave us this opportunity to showcase our art and as a collective. We have like about more than 20 artists showing our art. Between them, there are textiles, sculpture, wood gods, or visual arts. We have some paintings. We have some stained glass, and what else? We have photography. Yeah, so there is like a different kind of expressions that showcase folk art, but also contemporary art showing like some roots or representing the migrant life. Because there are Mexican artists, but also Mexican American artists. So
sure,
we are from different places, from living in the United States, and also artists living in Mexico that are shipping their work, and we are showing also their work here at the pump house.
So checking out the website, folkartcollective.com, you have an About Us section where it looks like you have a number of US based or in their own countries sort of representation of artists in the area, from you being in Viroqua to Mexico City to Milwaukee, just a wide plethora of, I guess, destinations that these folks are at. But you guys also offer workshops.
Yeah, actually, yeah. 1 year ago, we went to Rylander too to give workshops. We do Mexican program where we try to make a cultural immersion workshops. So where at least 3 of the artists from the collective goes and give a day workshops or 2 days workshops. This year we are gonna go again to Rylander to give workshops for the school district. We are teaching to 200 kids. So
wow.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, not the 200 at the same time, but like in groups by 20 kids in 2 days. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool because it's sharing with the new generations, not only with the Mexican or Mexican American kids, but with other cultures too. And it is a way to break stereotypes. When you say Mexican, you can think about tequila, mariachis, and tacos, no? That's how we sometimes are known, but we want to break that stereotype, and we are more than that, and sharing our art and bringing that to the schools or to the communities to share the meaning of things that are not a lot of known in this area. Things that also we learn from other artists that maybe I didn't know, and sometimes I know here people from another region from Mexico that I am not from. I have known other traditions and other art. Just like through sharing my art, I know more about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big country. Can't put
Yeah.
it all in a box.
Yeah.
Artist reception will be held at the Pump House October 6th, 5 to 6:30. It looks like you got a performing arts presentation too from 6:30 to 8. So you got folk dance, music, a whole ton of stuff, plus the other artists in 3D art, 2D art, performing arts, textiles, and it looks like you got some collaborative artists with it too.
We cannot wait to be there. So it's going to be the open house. The Pump House is offering starting at 5. So we are going to be there as an artist reception. And then 6:30 starts the presentation with Julieta Zavala, that is a fashion designer. And she's coming from Delaware, bringing some Catrinas. Catrinas is the skeleton ladies with dress. So it's going to be a fashion show of Catrinas. And then Ometosli, that is a Mexican folk dance from Milwaukee, is coming. And Brady James from Chicago, that is a band of Chicano music. They are coming as well to that presentation. And then on November 1st, we are doing a collaboration as a part of the exhibition, A Day of the Dead altar on November 1st. So people can go and see the process of how is made the Day of the Dead altar and the meaning of each element. And so we will be showcasing a story about an event that also Pump House is collaborating with us, that we do at the Key Wedding Farms on October 7th. So October 6th, we have the presentation at the Pump House, and October 7th, we have the Dia de Muertos event at the farm. And they plant 7,000 marigolds. So it's gonna be amazing. It's open to the public, and we want to share with more people this, and every year this is the 3rd year we do that event.
So is the go-to pretty much folkartcollective.com? That's where people can find out everything from workshops to events. It looks like you even have gift cards. Is that the spot to go for people to find out more?
Yeah, exactly. They can go there. We still need to update some artist profile in there, because this year we became 25 artists of the collective. So we need to update our profile information there, but we hope to have everything before the exhibition at the Pump House.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.